Stand up, Jamal. The 9-year-old boy rises slowly from his seat. Professor Richard Whitmore, the white Columbia University professor, walks over and picks up Jamal's notebook, the one filled with equations the fourth grader taught himself. Did you copy these from somewhere? No, sir, I did them myself. Don't lie to me. Whitmore holds the notebook high so the whole class can see it. These kids don't have what it takes for real mathematics. You're wasting my time. He drops the notebook. It hits the floor hard. Pages explode across the dirty tiles. 30 students freeze. 2 parent volunteers gasp. Jamal stands there in his worn hoodie and taped sneakers, staring at his work scattered like garbage. Whitmore steps over the mess, his expensive shoe crushing one page into the ground. But what that professor didn't know was that this poor black kid he just humiliated would soon expose a mistake in front of hundreds of people that would destroy his reputation forever. Let's rewind 2 weeks to understand how we got here. Washington Heights Elementary sits in one of the poorest neighborhoods in New York City. 78% of kids here live below the poverty line. The building is old. Paint peels off the walls. Half the computers in the lab don't work. The math textbooks are from 2005. This is where Jamal Brooks goes to school. 4th grade. 9 years old. His mom, Rosa, cleans hotel rooms for $11 an hour. His dad died in a construction accident when Jamal was 5. They live in a 1-bedroom apartment where Jamal sleeps on the couch. But Jamal has a secret. He's obsessed with math. Not the simple addition and subtraction his class does. Real math. The kind that makes your brain hurt. He discovered it by accident when he was 7. Found an old algebra book at the public library. Most kids would flip through it and give up. Jamal saw patterns. He saw colors. When he looks at numbers, he sees them as 3-dimensional shapes floating in his mind. 5s are blue pyramids. 7s are red spirals. Prime numbers glow green. It's called synesthesia. Jamal doesn't know the word. He just knows he sees math differently than everyone else. By age 9, he's teaching himself high school algebra. His 4th grade teacher, Ms. Angela Torres, noticed something was off when Jamal finished a multiplication test in 3 minutes and sat there looking bored. She gave him harder problems. He solved those too. She gave him problems from her college textbook. He worked through them during lunch while other kids played basketball. Ms. Torres realized she was watching something rare. Once in a generation is rare. That's when she made the call to Columbia University. Columbia runs a program called Gifted Youth Discovery. Every year, professors visit poor schools looking for diamond-in-the-rough kids with raw talent who never got a chance. If selected, the kid gets a full scholarship, private tutoring, and a path straight to Columbia when they graduate high school. It's a golden ticket out of poverty. In 12 years, the program selected 8 kids. All of them succeeded. All of them came from middle-class families. Not one was black. The professor who runs the program is Richard Whitmore, 58 years old, 3 best-selling math books, a TED Talk with 6 million views titled The Myth of Natural Math Genius. In it, he argues that mathematical talent isn't born. It's built through rigorous education, family support, and disciplined practice. The New York Times called him the math whisperer. When Whitmore says someone has talent, doors open. When he says they don't, those doors slam shut forever. Whitmore believes in his system. He grew up poor himself, white kid from rural Pennsylvania, escaped through brutal discipline and a strict teacher who never let him quit. To him, that's the only path. He looks at kids from broken homes, single parents, rough neighborhoods, and sees inevitable failure. Not because of their race, he'd never admit that. Because they lack structure. Because nobody's pushing them. Because talent without foundation crumbles. When Ms. Torres called and said she had a student who might be special, Whitmore agreed to visit. 1 evaluation. That's all. He'd seen dozens of teachers convinced their student was a genius. They were always wrong. He arrived at Washington Heights Elementary on a cold Monday morning. expensive suit, leather briefcase, Patek Philippe watch that cost more than Rosa makes in 6 months. He sat in the back of Ms. Torres's class and watched Jamal solve fraction problems faster than kids twice his age, watched him raise his hand for every question, watched him sketch geometric patterns in the margins of his notebook during silent work time. After class, Whitmore asked to see Jamal's independent work. Torres showed him this notebook. Pages and pages of self-taught algebra, quadratic equations, systems of equations. Some problems were solved correctly, some with small errors, but the attempt was there. The thinking was there. Whitmore closed the notebook. He looked at Jamal, small for his age, drowning in a hoodie 2 sizes too big, shoes held together with duct tape. He looked at the classroom, the cracked whiteboard, the broken pencil sharpener, the water-stained ceiling tiles. He looked at Ms. Torres, young and idealistic, probably thought she could save every kid. Then he made his decision. He would teach this teacher a lesson about reality, about what real talent looks like, about why good intentions aren't enough. That's when he designed the trap. 3 days after the notebook incident, Ms. Torres does something that takes courage. She corners Whitmore in the hallway before he leaves the building. "Professor, I don't think you were fair to Jamal." Whitmore stops, turns. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Fair? Ms. Torres, I've been evaluating mathematical talent for 30 years. That boy has some aptitude, I'll grant you, but aptitude isn't enough. He taught himself algebra from library books. He's 9. Exactly my point." Whitmore sets down his briefcase. He's picking up fragments without foundation. It's like building a house on sand. Do you know what his home life is like? Single mother, works 2 jobs, no father figure, no structure, no one ensuring he does homework correctly. These environmental factors matter. Ms. Torres feels her face getting hot. "So you're saying because he's poor and black?" "I'm saying talent needs support systems, family involvement, educational resources, stability." His voice stays calm, professorial. "I'm not being cruel. I'm being realistic. If I put him in the Columbia program and he fails, I've wasted a slot that could have gone to someone ready to succeed. Someone with the foundation to handle the pressure." "Then give him a fair chance to prove himself." Whitmore considers this. A thought crosses his face, something almost like amusement. "All right, a fair test, but on my terms." That afternoon, Whitmore returns to the classroom. School just ended, but 12 students stayed late for homework help. Jamal is at his desk working through a geometry problem. Whitmore calls him to the front. The other kids stop working. They sense something. "Jamal, your teacher believes you deserve a chance. I agree." He walks to the whiteboard, picks up a marker, writes, "Find all twin prime pairs from 1 to 1,000. Then explain why they appear in the pattern they do." The room goes quiet. Jamal stares at the board. Twin primes are 2 prime numbers that differ by exactly 2, like 3 and 5, 11 and 13. This is a problem that professional mathematicians study. If you can solve it, truly understand the pattern, I'll personally recommend you for the Columbia program. He caps the marker. The sound echoes. "You have until Friday. 5 days. That's more than fair." A student named David raises his hand. "Mr. Whitmore, isn't that like college math?" It's the kind of problem that separates real mathematical thinking from memorization. Whitmore looks at Ms. Torres. "One more rule. No help from adults. I'll know if someone assisted. Any sign of outside help and the offer is void. He must do this completely alone." Ms. Torres opens her mouth to protest, but Whitmore cuts her off. "Those are my terms. If Jamal is truly gifted as you claim, he won't need help." "Isn't that right, Jamal?" Every eye turns to the 9-year-old. His hands are shaking. He's still wearing the same hoodie from the notebook incident. The other kids are whispering. They know what Whitmore just did. He set up a trap. An impossible problem with an impossible deadline and impossible rules. Jamal could say no. He could walk away, save himself the embarrassment of failing. But then he'd always wonder, always know he backed down. He touches the small black stone in his hoodie pocket, the one his father gave him before he died. His dad used to say, "Hard as this stone, you can get through anything." Jamal looks up at the professor. "I'll do it, sir." Whitmore nods slowly. "I look forward to Friday." He leaves. The classroom erupts in whispers. Ms. Torres kneels down next to Jamal's desk. "You don't have to do this." But Jamal is already copying the problem into a fresh notebook. What that professor didn't realize was that he just gave a 9-year-old the motivation to expose him in a way he'd never forget. 5 days. Jamal has 5 days to solve a problem mathematicians have studied for decades. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Public library opens. Jamal checks out 6 books on prime numbers, finds a corner table, starts working. Twin primes are 2 primes separated by exactly 2, 3 and 5, 5 and 7, 11 and 13. He lists every number from 1 to 100 by hand, circles the primes, marks the twins. 3 hours later, he reaches 200, hand cramping, numbers blurring. But he sees something. Many twin pairs appear near multiples of 30, 29 and 31, 59 and 61. Why 30? Sunday. Back to the library. Pushes to 600. The pattern holds but also breaks. Some multiples of 30 have no twins nearby. Others have several. The inconsistency frustrates him. Monday after school, Ms. Torres lets him work in the classroom. She grades papers, doesn't help. By midnight at home, he's found all twin primes to 1,000. 205 pairs total. List complete and accurate. But he doesn't understand why they appear where they do. That's the real question Whitmore asked. Tuesday, 4 hours of sleep, eyes burning. Friend David at lunch says, "Just quit, man." "I'm close." He's not. He has data but no explanation. Then he remembers. Whitmore's TED Talk, 6 million views. Maybe there's a clue there. After school, library computer, searches Whitmore TED Talk math, finds it. The myth of natural math genius. Clicks play. Whitmore talks about discipline, about how talent is built, not born. Jamal half listens. Then Minute 14 arrives. Whitmore explains prime distribution on a small stage whiteboard. He says clearly, "A common misconception is that twin primes appear randomly. They follow modular forms. For example, there are no twin prime pairs from 400 to 450. This is a desert zone in prime distribution." Jamal rewinds, listens again. No twin primes from 400 to 450. Something feels wrong. He pulls out his handwritten list, scans down to the 400s. Fingers stop on one line, 419 and 421. Heart pounds. Did he mess up? Is 419 actually prime? He tests it. Divide by 2. No. 3. No. 5. 7. 11. 13. 17. 19. Nothing works. 419 is prime. 421. Same process. Test every prime up to 20.5. No divisors. Also prime. 2 primes. Separated by 2. In the desert zone that supposedly doesn't exist. He keeps checking his list. 431 and 433. Both prime. Another twin pair in the same range. The professor is wrong. In a video 6 million people watched. Wednesday evening. 1 day before the deadline. Jamal finishes his assignment. 22 pages handwritten. Part 1. All 205 twin prime pairs from 1 to 1,000. Calculated by hand. Verified twice. Part 2. Pattern observation about multiples of 30. Honest note that he doesn't fully understand why the pattern breaks. Part 3. 3 respectful paragraphs. About Whitmore's TED Talk. About the desert zone claim. About the pairs he found there. Ending with, did I make a mistake in my calculations? Or is there something I don't understand? Thursday night, 2 a.m. Can't sleep. Mom finds him on the couch staring at his notebook. Baby, you did your best. What if I'm wrong? What if everyone laughs at me? Rosa sits beside him. You worked harder than any kid I know. That's enough. Friday morning, folder in hand. School, 8 a.m. Whitmore arrives. Jamal hands it over. Whitmore flips through, smirks. Where did you copy this from? I didn't copy, sir. I did it myself. Ms. Torres, you helped him. I watched him all week. He worked completely alone. Whitmore's expression hardens. I'll review this carefully. Any sign of cheating ends this immediately. He leaves. 3 p.m. School's over, but Whitmore calls Jamal back. The class stays. 12 kids volunteer. 3 parents, including Rosa. Everyone crowds in. Whitmore stands at the board. Jamal submitted his work. The list of twin primes is accurate. 205 pairs. Kids clap. Jamal breathes out. However, the pattern explanation is weak. You observe multiples of 30, but prove nothing. That's guessing. Jamal's stomach drops. And your claim about my TED Talk shows you misunderstand professional mathematics. Desert zones are relative terms. Sir, Jamal's voice shakes, but he pushes forward. I checked multiple times. 419 and 421, both prime, both in that range. You calculated wrong. I can show my work. Jamal, I've studied this for 30 years. Rosa stands. Can someone check it right now? On a computer? Whitmore's jaw clenches. He opens his laptop, types into a math verification site. Is 419 prime? Screen loads. Yes. Is 421 prime? Yes. Silence. 30 seconds. Everyone was staring at the screen. Whitmore's face goes pale. His hand shakes slightly as he closes the laptop. Ms. Torres speaks quietly. So, Jamal was correct? Whitmore won't look at the boy. His voice comes out strained. I may have misremembered the specific range. The desert zone was likely a different interval. Parent Mrs. Johnson doesn't let it slide. So, this 4th grader just corrected a Columbia professor? Whitmore finally looks at Jamal, the small boy in the worn hoodie who he threw on the floor a week ago. You found an inaccuracy. I'll review the material. Not an apology, barely an admission. But everyone in that room heard it. The classroom explodes, kids yelling, parents clapping. Rosa grabs Jamal in a crushing hug. But Jamal watches Whitmore's face, sees rage there, humiliation. This man just lost in front of witnesses. And Jamal knows in his gut, this isn't over. Not even close. Within 48 hours, everything explodes. A parent recorded the moment on their phone. 30 seconds of Whitmore checking the computer, going silent, his face draining color. Posted to Facebook, Saturday morning. By afternoon, 5,000 shares. By Sunday, it jumps to TikTok, Twitter, Reddit. Local news picks it up. Education blogs write about it. The video goes viral. Headlines, 4th grader corrects Columbia professor. 9-year-old finds error in viral TED Talk. Poor black student outsmarts Ivy League math expert. Comment sections become war zones. One side celebrates Jamal. The other defends Whitmore. Some get ugly. DEI lowering standards. Kid got lucky. Why celebrate mediocrity? Kids at school show Jamal the comments. He reads them. Each one feels like a punch. Monday morning, Columbia calls Whitmore in. Department Chair Dr. Patricia Carter sits across from him. Ted verified the student's findings. Your talk needs a correction notice. It was an honest mistake. 6 million views, Richard. Used in classrooms worldwide. This affects your credibility. Whitmore grips the armrests. People are making this a circus. Then end it. Recommend the boy for the program. You want me to reward him for humiliating me? I want you to do what's right. Silence. Then Whitmore says, I need more data. One problem doesn't prove sustained excellence. I want a comprehensive final assessment. Private evaluation. Him, me, neutral observer. Real testing conditions. Dr. Carter considers. It sounds reasonable. You'll be fair? I'm a scientist. I follow the evidence. She approves it. That afternoon, email to Ms. Torres. Final assessment. Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Private room. Jamal solves progressive problems for 30 minutes. Explains reasoning for 10 minutes. Columbia observer present. No parents, teachers, or students. This determines program acceptance. Ms. Torres calls Rosa that night. He's isolating Jamal, putting him alone with the man who humiliated him. Can we refuse? Then Jamal loses the program. Rosa goes quiet. What will Whitmore do? Try to make him crack, pressure him. Pressure. Force verbal explanations which Jamal struggles with. Set him up to fail. Can Jamal handle it? Ms. Torres thinks about the boy who worked 5 days straight, who found a professor's error, who stood up shaking but didn't back down. I don't know. He's 9, and Whitmore wants to destroy him. Next morning, Ms. Torres tells Jamal. His face goes white. Alone? Just me and him? Plus a Columbia observer. What if I mess up? What if I freeze? She kneels to his level, hands on his shoulders. Jamal, that professor is scared of you. That's why he's doing this. He needs you to fail because your success destroys everything he believes. He'll try to shake you, make you doubt yourself, trick questions, push until you break. Jamal's eyes water. How do I stop him? You don't think about him. When you walk in that room, it's just you and the math. Not him, not the observer, not the program, not your mom or me, just the math. Math doesn't care who you are or where you're from. Math is the one fair thing. Remember that. Jamal nods, touches his pocket stone. Just me and the math. Just you and the math. 3 days until Thursday. Jamal practices at home, works through algebra problems, times himself. His mom quizzes him at night after her shift. Tuesday after school, something unexpected happens. An old man approaches Jamal at the library. White hair, kind eyes, maybe 80 years old. You're the boy from the video. Jamal tenses. Another person told him he got lucky. My name is Morris. I taught mathematics for 40 years. May I sit? Jamal nods carefully. Morris sits. I watched what you did, finding that error. That took real thinking. How do you see numbers? Nobody ever asked Jamal that before. I see colors, shapes. Primes glow green like they're alive. Morris smiles. Synesthesia. Einstein had it too. It's a gift, but also a burden, because people won't understand how you think. Professor Whitmore doesn't believe me. I know. I saw the video. He's afraid. Of me? Of being wrong. Some people build their whole identity on being the smartest in the room. When someone challenges that, especially someone they think shouldn't be able to, it breaks something in them. Morris pulls out an old notebook. This is mine from when I was young. Problems I solved. I want you to have it. Not to copy. Just to know you're not alone. Jamal takes the notebook. His hands shake. Thank you. Thursday, when you're in that room, remember this. Math was here before Whitmore. It'll be here after. You're not fighting him. You're finding the truth. And truth doesn't care about anything except being true. Wednesday night. Jamal can't sleep. Lies awake on the couch thinking about tomorrow. His mom comes out at 2 a.m., finds him staring at the ceiling. Can't sleep, baby. What if I'm not good enough? Rosa sits, takes his hand. You're already good enough. You've always been good enough. Tomorrow isn't about proving that. It's about not letting that man take it away from you. I'm scared, Mama. I know. Being scared means it matters. Just don't let the fear win. Thursday morning arrives cold and gray. Jamal puts on his hoodie. The stone goes in the pocket. Morris's notebook in his backpack. 2:30 p.m. The assessment. Alone with Whitmore. But what Jamal doesn't know is that when he walks into that room, there's going to be one more surprise. One more rule change designed to break him. And he'll have to dig deeper than he's ever dug before. 3 days until Thursday. 3 days until Jamal faces Whitmore alone. Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Jamal wakes from another nightmare. In the dream, he stands before Whitmore trying to explain a solution, but his mouth won't work. Numbers float around, but he can't grab them. Everyone watches him fail. Mom already left for her hotel shift. Note on table, you got this, baby. Eat breakfast. Love you. And $2 for lunch beside it. School drags. Can't focus. Ms. Torres notices, doesn't call on him. Lunch. Friend David sits next to him. You ready? I don't know. What if you just don't go? Jamal considers it. Stay home. Avoid everything. But then Whitmore wins. Everyone who said he got lucky was right. All those online comments about kids like him not belonging. I have to go. You're braver than me. After school, library, 3 p.m. Practice problems spread out. Algebra, geometry, number theory. Works through them, gets most right, some wrong. Each error feels like proof he's not ready. 4 p.m. Phone buzzes. Unknown number. Everyone's watching tomorrow. Don't embarrass yourself. Another text. You got lucky once. Won't happen again. Another. Go back to your neighborhood. Stop pretending you're smart. Hands shaking. Turns off the phone. Tries focusing on math, but words echo. Stop pretending you're smart. 5 p.m. Walk home. Passes to the community center. Kids playing basketball see him. Yo, math genius, you're gonna be famous tomorrow or choke? Another laughs. He's gonna choke. Jamal keeps walking. Head down, each step is heavier. 6 p.m., empty apartment. Mom back at 9, heats leftover rice. Opens Morris's notebook, flips through 50-year-old equations, sees where Morris made mistakes, crossed out, tried again. Even the old professor was human. 7 p.m. Mom calls. How are you feeling, baby? Scared. That's okay. Your daddy used to say being scared means you care. Means it's real. Don't run from being scared. Walk through it. What if I let everyone down? Jamal, you already made me proud. Tomorrow, whatever happens, you're still my genius. Say it. Say I'm enough. Voice cracks. I'm enough. Now eat and sleep. 8 p.m. Can't sleep. Ceiling staring. 30 minutes of problems tomorrow. 10 minutes talking. Whitmore watching. Waiting for failure. 9:30. Mom home exhausted. Sits on the couch edge. Hand through his hair. Still awake? Can't stop thinking. About what? What if my brain doesn't work? What if I forget everything? Rosa is quiet. Then, That professor is more scared than you. How? You have nothing to lose. Already proved yourself, but him? Everything to lose. Reputation, pride, belief about who's smart. You shook that. Tomorrow he tries taking it back. You don't let him. Yes, Mama. Sleep, maybe 2 hours total. Thursday morning, 6 a.m., showers, cleanest clothes, hoodie, stone in pocket, touches it 3 times, 7 a.m., breakfast, can't eat, stomach tight. Mom forces orange juice. You're gonna do great. How do you know? Because you don't quit. School. Morning classes torture. Time moves like mud. Ms. Torres watches, gives encouraging nod. He tries smiling back. Can't. Lunch. Can't eat. David offers half a sandwich half. Jamal refuses. Gotta eat something. I'll throw up. 1 p.m. 2 hours until assessment. Ms. Torres pulls him to the hallway. How are you feeling? Like running away. She kneels, eye level. What you've done is already remarkable. Finding that error, working that hard, standing up to power. You've won. Tomorrow doesn't change that. What if I fail? Then you fail. World keeps spinning. You're still brilliant. We find another way. But I don't think you'll fail. You're gonna show them who you are. I'm scared to talk. Can't explain right. Explain your way. With colors, shapes, whatever you see. Don't sound like them. Sound like you. 1:30 p.m. 30 minutes left. Empty classroom. Hands shaking. Breathing fast. Walls closing in. Pulls out stone. Holds tight. Eyes closed. Thinks about Dad. Man, he barely remembers who gave him this stone. Told him he was strong. Thinks about Mom working 2 shifts for notebooks and library cards. Thinks about Ms. Torres believing when nobody else did. Thinks about Morris and his old notebook. You're not alone. Thinks about online comments. People wanting him to fail. Deciding he doesn't belong. Something shifts. Fear is still huge and heavy, but underneath, something else. Quiet anger. The kind that burns steady. They want him to fail. Expect it. Already decided he's not enough. He'll prove every one of them wrong. 2 p.m. Time. Assessment room in administration building. Different from regular classrooms. Quieter. Colder. Ms. Torres walks him there. Doesn't speak. Just stays close. At the door, squeezes his shoulder. Just you and the math. Jamal nods. Breathes. Opens the door. Inside, Whitmore sits at a table. Next to him, a woman. Asian, 40s, professional. Neutral observer from Colombia. Whitmore looks up, face unreadable. Jamal, sit. Jamal sits. Chair too big, room too small. This is Dr. Helen Park. She observes and ensures fairness. Do you understand the format? 30 minutes of problems, 10 minutes of verbal explanation. Yes, sir. Whitmore slides a packet across the table. 5 problems. The first one is harder than anything before. Begin when ready. Jamal picks up a pencil. Hand steadies. The room fades. Just him now. Him and numbers. Him and truth. Dr. Park watches quietly. Takes notes. Whitmore leans back. Arms crossed. Waiting. Jamal reads Problem 1. System of 3 equations, 3 variables. Starts working. Finds x, then y, then z. Checks his work. Correct. Problem 2. Geometric proof. triangle angles and parallel lines, draws diagram, works through logic, writes proof. Done. Problem 3. Probability. Complex. Takes longer. Makes one mistake, catches it, erases, recalculates. Gets it. Problem 4. Prime factorization with large numbers. His strength. Sees the patterns and colors. Green glowing primes. Solves it faster than the others. Problem 5. The hardest. Number theory. Pattern recognition across infinite series. He stares at it. Thinks. Sees something. Not a complete solution, but an approach. Write what he can. Shows his thinking even where he's uncertain. Time. 30 minutes exactly. Whitmore collects the papers, scans them quickly. His expression flickers. Surprise? Disappointment? Hard to tell. You completed 4 fully and attempted the 5th. Now explain problem 4. How did you know to factor that way? This is it, the talking part, where Jamal struggles. He swallows. Begins. But what Jamal doesn't know is that Whitmore has one more surprise coming. A rule change he never mentioned, and it's designed to break him completely. Jamal opens his mouth to explain problem 4. Before he speaks, Whitmore holds up his hand. Wait. I need to clarify the verbal component. Dr. Park looks up. Clarify? Yes. For the explanation, Jamal won't just talk to us. He needs to defend his reasoning. Dr. Park and I will ask follow-up questions, challenge his logic, test if he truly understands or just memorized steps. Jamal's stomach drops. Dr. Park frowns. Professor, that wasn't in the assessment description. It's standard practice. Doctoral students defend dissertations. This is appropriate for gifted candidates. He's 9 years old, which is why we're testing if he's ready. Whitmore looks at Jamal. Unless you're not comfortable with questions. Trap. If Jamal refuses, he looks weak. Whitmore knows this. Jamal's throat is tight, mouth dry. He hates speaking to adults, hates interruptions that break his thinking. This is his nightmare. He nods anyway. I can do it. Good. Begin. Breath, voice shaky. Problem 4 asked us to find prime factors of 633. I tested small primes first. Not 2 because it's odd. Not 3 because digits don't sum to... Whitmore interrupts. How did you know to test 3 that way? Divisibility rule. If digits sum to multiple of 3, who taught you that? Library book. Which book? Mind blanks. Read it months ago. Can't remember the title. I don't remember the name. You don't remember? Whitmore writes something. Continue. Hands shaking. Not 5 because it doesn't end in 0 or 5. Tested 7. Doesn't divide. Tested 11. Stop. Why skip from 7 to 11? What about 9? 9 isn't prime. Are you certain? Of course. 9 is 3 times 3. But Whitmore's tone makes Jamal doubt for a second. Yes. 9 equals 3 times 3. Correct. But you hesitated. Why? This is the game, not testing knowledge. Testing confidence, planting doubt. Dr. Park shifts. Professor, let him finish before... I'm assessing depth of understanding. Continue, Jamal. Jamal explains finding 633 equals 3 times 211. How he tested if 211 is prime. Every few sentences, interruption. Why that approach? Are you sure? Explain again. How do you know? 5 minutes in, Jamal stumbles over words. Loses place. Confidence crumbling. Exactly what Whitmore wanted. 10 minutes end. Jamal feels like he failed. Math was correct, but he sounded uncertain, confused, like he didn't understand his own work. Whitmore leans back. Thank you. We'll discuss and notify you by Monday. Over. Jamal stands on shaky legs, walks to the door. Behind him, Dr. Park's voice, quiet but firm. Professor Whitmore, I need to speak with you, privately, now. Jamal walks out. The door closes. Ms. Torres waits in the hallway. One look at his face, she knows. How did it go? He shakes his head. Can't speak. Eyes burning. She walks him to the empty classroom. He sits, stares at nothing. Tell me. I messed up. I knew the math but couldn't explain it right. He kept interrupting, asking questions, made me doubt everything. I sounded stupid. You're not stupid. I froze, just like always when people question me. I see it in my head, but saying it out loud, everything gets jumbled.
Jamal, he was right about everything. I can solve problems on paper but can't defend them. Can't talk like smart people. I'm just a kid who got lucky once. Don't say that. It's true. Those people online were right. I'm from the projects. Mom cleans hotel rooms. I don't belong to Columbia. I was stupid to think I did. Listen to me. No. Stands up. Anger is hot and painful. Everyone was watching, expecting me to prove something. I couldn't. I choked. When Whitmore rejects me, everyone will say they knew. That kid couldn't handle pressure. Another poor kid who thought he was special. Grab a backpack. Storms to the door. Where are you going? Home. I'm done. She doesn't stop him. He needs space. 4 blocks home. Cold wind. Doesn't feel it. Just crushing failure. Empty apartment. Mom is working. He lies on the couch, stares at the ceiling. All that work. 5 days on twin primes. Finding Whitmore's error. Standing up publicly.
For what? To prove Whitmore right? That kids like him can't succeed? The phone buzzes. David. How'd it go? Doesn't answer. Unknown number. Heard you bombed. Told you weren't ready. Another. Stop embarrassing yourself and your community. Turn off the phone. Close his eyes. Hours pass. Dark now. Mom home at 7. Finds him on the couch. Still in clothes. Hasn't moved. Baby? You okay? I failed. She sits. What happened? He tells everything. Problems solved. Verbal explanation. Whitmore interrupting, questioning, breaking him. How he stumbled, doubted, sounded unknowing. Rosa listens. When he finishes, long silence. You know what I think? What? You're forgetting something. What? You solved those problems. All of them. The math part, the part that matters. You did it. But I couldn't explain. Because he wouldn't let you. Changed rules mid-test to make you fail. That's not you failing. That's him cheating. Jamal sits up. Doesn't matter. He's the professor. He decides. Maybe. Rosa takes his face in her hands. But you know what else? You spent 5 days teaching yourself college mathematics. Found a mistake a famous professor made. Stood before everyone with shaking hands. Walked into a room with a man wanting to destroy you and didn't back down. That's not failure, Jamal. That's courage. Courage doesn't matter if I don't get in. Courage always matters. With or without that program, you're still brilliant, still brave, still my son. We'll find another way. He wants to believe, wants to feel better, just feels tired, defeated, small. I want to sleep, Mama. Okay, baby. Kisses his forehead, turns off the light, leaves him in the dark, Eyes closed, touches pocket stones. Father's stone. Hard as this stone, you can get through anything. Right now, not sure he can. What he doesn't know, right now, in the Columbia meeting room, Dr. Helen Park is doing something to change everything, not staying quiet, not letting this go. 3 days ago, Dr. Park observed the assessment, took detailed notes, watched Whitmore's tactics, the interruptions, the doubt planting. The rule change was never mentioned beforehand. Tonight she writes a report. 6 pages. Detailed. Professional. Damning. Tomorrow morning she'll deliver it to the department chair. And in 3 days, at parent-teacher night with 120 people watching, she's going to make sure everyone knows the truth. She's fighting for him, even if he doesn't know it yet. 3 days later, Friday evening, parent-teacher night at Washington Heights Elementary. The auditorium is packed. 120 people. Parents, teachers, students. Local news sent a reporter after the viral video. 2 cameras in back. This is the night Whitmore announces his decision about Jamal. Jamal sits front row with his mom. Wearing the same hoodie, stone in pocket. Hasn't slept well in 3 days. Keeps replaying the assessment in his head. Every stumble, every hesitation, every moment he sounded stupid. Ms. Torres sits 3 rows back. Morris, the old man from the library, came too. Sits near the aisle. David and 5 other classmates fill a row. Everyone who believed in Jamal showed up. 7 p.m. Principal introduces Whitmore. Polite applause. Some parents don't clap. They saw the video. Know what he did to Jamal. Whitmore walks to the podium. Expensive suit. Confident. He's done this before. Knows how to control a room. Thank you all for coming. I've spent several weeks evaluating Jamal Brooks for Columbia's Gifted Youth Discovery Program. This decision requires careful consideration. Jamal's hands grip his knees. Here it comes. Jamal is a bright student, hard-working. He showed aptitude in identifying patterns. However, the program demands more than aptitude. It requires deep mathematical understanding, ability to think under pressure, and clear communication of complex ideas. Pause. Whitmore looks directly at Jamal. After thorough assessment, I've concluded Jamal is not ready for this program. He needs more foundational work, more structured education, more time to develop. Perhaps in a few years, with proper support, he could reapply. But at this time, I cannot recommend him. The room erupts in whispers. Jamal feels like he's underwater, can't breathe. Mom's hand grabs his. However, Whitmore raises his voice over the noise. This doesn't mean Jamal lacks potential. It means he needs the right environment first. Rushing him into advanced work would set him up for failure. I'm protecting him by saying no. Protecting him. Like this is kindness. Like rejection is a favor. From the back, someone stands. Dr. Helen Park. She walks down the center aisle. Every eye follows her. Excuse me, Professor Whitmore. Whitmore's face tightens. Dr. Park, this isn't the time. I'm the neutral observer from Columbia who monitored the assessment. I have something to say. She reaches the front, turns to face the audience. 3 days ago, I watched Professor Whitmore evaluate Jamal. I took detailed notes. Notes I've since submitted to Columbia's administration. People need to hear what I observed. Dr. Park, you're out of line. She ignores him, speaks to the crowd. Jamal was given 5 problems at high school and college level. He solved 4 completely. The 5th, he showed correct reasoning even without finishing. For a 9-year-old, this is exceptional. Parents lean forward. News cameras zoom in. Then came a verbal explanation. Jamal began clearly. But Professor Whitmore interrupted constantly, changed the rules mid-assessment by adding adversarial questioning not mentioned beforehand. He didn't assess understanding. He assessed confidence. And when Jamal hesitated, Not because he didn't know the math, but because he was being psychologically pressured. Professor Whitmore used that hesitation as proof of inadequacy. Whitmore steps forward. I was conducting a standard academic evaluation. You were trying to make him fail. Dr. Park's voice cuts like steel. I've observed dozens of assessments. This wasn't an evaluation. This was sabotage. The room explodes, parents shouting, students standing. Rosa squeezes Jamal's hand so hard it hurts. Dr. Park isn't done. Furthermore, 3 weeks ago, Jamal identified an error in Professor Whitmore's TED Talk. An error Ted has now officially corrected, citing Jamal Brooks by name. A 9-year-old child found a mistake that 6 million viewers, including professional mathematicians, missed. That alone proves exceptional ability. She turns to Whitmore. You're not protecting this child. You're punishing him for embarrassing you. That is absolutely, is it, Doctor? Park pulls papers from her folder. I have your assessment notes here. You wrote, the student appears to have some natural ability but lacks the discipline and background necessary for rigorous academic work. Tell me, Professor, how did you determine he lacks discipline after watching him work 5 days straight on an impossible problem? How did you assess his background when you never asked about it? Whitmore's face reddens. I've evaluated candidates for 12 years, and in 12 years, how many black students have you accepted? Silence. Complete silence. I checked. 8 students in 12 years. 0 black students. You claim this is about readiness, about foundation, but the pattern suggests something else. How dare you accuse me of... I'm not accusing. I'm observing. Just like you observed Jamal. And my observation is this. You saw a poor black child from a broken home and decided before he ever walked in that room that he would fail. You designed an assessment to confirm your bias, and when he succeeded anyway, you changed the rules. Parents are on their feet now, some shouting agreement, some defending Whitmore. The room is chaos. Principal tries restoring order. Please, everyone! Dr. Park raises her voice. Based on my evaluation, Jamal Brooks not only qualifies for the Gifted Youth Discovery Program, he exceeds requirements. I'm recommending him directly. The Columbia administration has approved my authority to do so. Jamal's head snaps up. What? Furthermore, I'm volunteering to be his mentor. Professor Whitmore, you're right about one thing. Jamal needs support, structure, guidance. I'm providing it. The room erupts in applause. Half the audience was standing, clapping, cheering. Rosa pulls Jamal into a hug. He can't process what's happening. Whitmore stands at the podium, alone, defeated. His face cycles through emotions, anger, humiliation. And finally, something else, something smaller. He looks at Jamal, the 9-year-old boy he tried to destroy, who's crying now in his mother's arms while people cheer. 10 seconds of silence. Whitmore staring. Everyone is waiting. When he finally speaks, his voice is quiet, strained. I was wrong. The room goes silent. I looked at Jamal and saw what I expected to see. Deficits, limitations, reasons he would fail. I didn't see what was actually there. He pauses, swallows. Jamal, you found an error I made. You worked harder than most adults would. You solved problems far beyond your grade level. And you did it without the advantages I assumed were necessary. Another pause. Longer. I built my career on the belief that mathematical genius is made, not born. That it requires specific conditions, specific environments. I used that belief to justify decisions that weren't fair, weren't right. He looks directly at Jamal. You proved me wrong. About what's possible. About who belongs, about a lot of things. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you prove so much. I'm sorry I tried to take your dream away.
It's not a perfect apology, not complete, but it's real. Everyone hears the break in his voice. Jamal stands, small in his too big hoodie, walks to the front, stands before Whitmore. The professor towers over him, but somehow Jamal doesn't feel small anymore. I accept your apology, sir, but I hope you won't do this to another kid. Because there are others like me, who see math in colors, who teach themselves from library books, who don't look like what you think smart looks like. They deserve chances, too. Whitmore nods. You're right. They do. The room erupts again, louder this time. Jamal turns, sees his mom crying, Ms. Torres crying, Morris giving him a thumbs up, David and his friends cheering. He did it. He actually did it. Not just got into the program, changed something bigger. 20 minutes later, crowd dispersing, parents congratulating Rosa, students surrounding Jamal. Doctor, Park approaches, holds out her tablet. Jamal, check your email. Use mine. He takes it. Opens email. Top message from TED official. Subject, correction notice published. Your contribution, recognized hands, shake reading. TED posted an official correction to Professor Whitmore's talk. They verified your findings about twin primes in the 400 to 450 range. Credited to you by name, full name, age, school. It's permanent. Rosa reads over shoulder. Gasps. 6 million people watched that talk. Now every single one sees a correction notice. Your name is attached to one of the most viewed math lectures in TED history. That's your legacy, Jamal, at 9 years old. Stares at screen, sees his name. Jamal Brooks, age 9, Washington Heights Elementary, right there in the official TED database. Not just program acceptance. This is different, bigger, permanent. His discovery is now part of academic record, forever. Every mathematician referencing that talk will see your correction. Every student watching it. Your name is in the mathematics conversation now. Looks up. People will know I was right. More than that. People will know a 4th grader from a poor school found something professionals missed. Across the room, Whitmore watches, sees Jamal with a tablet, knows what that email means. His legacy is now permanently intertwined with this child's correction. Walks over slowly. Rosa tenses. Whitmore stops, looks at Jamal. I saw the TED notice yesterday. Could have fought it. Argued error was insignificant. I didn't. Because you were right. That matters more than my pride. Extends hand. Congratulations, Jamal. Truly. Jamal looks at hand, looks at Mom. She nods. Your choice. Shakes it. Whitmore's grip is firm but not crushing. Just a handshake. Thank you, sir. I hope someday you can forgive me. Thinks about the notebook on the floor. Impossible problem. Assessment designed to break him. 3 days thinking he failed. All kids who never got a second chance. I'm not ready to forgive yet, but maybe someday. Whitmore nods. That's fair. Walks away. Shoulders slightly bent. Not defeated. Changed. Morris appears beside Jamal. Old mathematician grins. You didn't just win. You taught that professor something nobody else could. That's real power. 2 weeks later, Columbia University sends an official acceptance letter. Full scholarship to Young Scholars Program. Starts next semester. Dr. Park as personal mentor. Local news runs a story. 9-year-old math prodigy overcomes bias, earns Columbia scholarship. Photo of Jamal holding his notebook, smiling this time. The Washington Heights community throws a celebration at the elementary school. Banner reads, "Congratulations, Jamal." Cake, balloons, everyone who supported him there. But Jamal doesn't change. Still wears same hoodie. Still sits in the back of Ms. Torres's class.
Still does his homework on the couch at night while mom works. One afternoon, girl named Maria approaches his desk. Quiet kid, never raises hand, struggles with fractions. Jamal, can you help me? I don't get this problem. He looks at her work, sees where she's confused. Okay, look. Don't think of fractions as numbers. Think of them as pieces. Like if you have pizza cut into 8 slices and you eat 3, you ate 3/8. See? Maria's eyes light up. Oh, that makes sense. You're not bad at math. You just needed to see it differently. She smiles, goes back to her seat, works through the problem, gets it right. Ms. Torres watches this. That's the moment she knows Jamal will be fine. Not because he's smart, because he remembers where he came from. That night, Jamal opens a new notebook. First page blank. Clean, full of possibility. Writes at top, prime number patterns and modular forms, Jamal Brooks. Starts sketching. Numbers in colors. Green primes glowing. Red composite numbers. Blue patterns emerging. His next project. His next discovery. The phone rings. Mom calling from work. How are you feeling, baby? Good, Mama. Really good. I'm proud of you. You know that? I know. Get some sleep. School tomorrow. Hangs up. Jamal looks at his notebook, thinks about everything that happened. The floor, the viral video, the assessment, the parent-teacher night, all of it. He picks up his father's stone, holds it tight. I did it, Dad. I got through. Sets stone on table, picks up a pencil, gets back to work. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Talent isn't about where you're from, isn't about who believes in you, isn't about having the right advantages or the perfect environment. Talent is about seeing something nobody else sees, working when everyone says quit, standing up when they push you down, believing math when you can't believe yourself. Jamal proved he belonged, not by being perfect, by being brave enough to try. If this story reminded you of a time you had to prove yourself twice as hard, share it. Drop a comment about someone who told you that you didn't belong. Subscribe to hear more stories about people who refuse to stay small. Because the best way to change what people think is possible? Show them. And Jamal Brooks just showed the world.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.